At night, in an airplane, the ding of the fasten your safety belt sign illuminating, combined with the shaking of the plane from turbulence, wakes Natalie, early 40s, from her sleep. She lifts the sleep mask from her eyes and checks on her husband, David, who is sound asleep. She scoffs. His ability to sleep through anything is infuriating. She looks around the darkened cabin of the aircraft and notes a few of the male passengers praying. The plane shakes again, and the woman sitting next to her on her left has taken over the armrest of her seat. Natalie is annoyed further. She catches the attention of a flight attendant walking towards her.
Excuse me.
Yes,
How much longer until we land?
we have about 3 hours left in our flight.
Natalie looks over at her husband, who is still sleeping soundly. She pulls the mask back down over her eyes in an attempt to go back to sleep. Later, she is woken by the woman sitting next to her, loudly and clumsily getting her carry-on from the overhead compartment. She lifts her mask and looks over at David, who is sitting up in his chair, putting a few things into his small carry-on.
We're here.
She texts her friends and pulls her phone out of her purse. Her friend Maggie, and says, "Made it, rough flight, over 10 hours and barely any sleep. Good luck on yours."
People are waiting.
Natalie glares at her husband before putting the phone in her pocket and throwing the bag over her shoulder. She gives David another look, this one a mixture of multiple feelings. He smiles and shakes his head, and they both head towards the exit. At the baggage claim, the couple stands next to each other in front of it, and there's only a few pieces of luggage left on the carousel. David has his luggage next to him, but Natalie is missing hers.
I think they lost my bag.
It may still show up.
A ping from her phone distracts her from the carousel. It's another message from Maggie. "I'm packing my Xanax and some edibles. I'll see you in a couple of days."
Well, let's go file a claim and get a taxi.
Sorry, hon. I'm sure it'll turn up sooner or later.
Natalie and David are in a taxi that's driving through Jerusalem. It's a busy city with lots of culture and lots of people. The taxi driver is rambunctious. He's chatting away with David, who is obliging him while Natalie is silently watching the city whiz by.
The glory of Jerusalem is the Western Wall. I must take you there. Even if you're not devout, it's magical. I can take you there if you'd like.
The hotel for now, please, but we do plan on going.
Okay. You feel it when you get close and you see all the prayers of people who have slipped little bits of paper in the cracks. So many wishes come true.
Hear that, honey? Maybe we should go tomorrow and wish for your bag.
David reaches over and squeezes her hand, and she recoils and gives him a fake smile. This is not the way she thought her trip would start. The taxi pulls up in front of the King David Hotel. It's beautiful. They get out as a valet approaches them and retrieves their bags. In the hotel, they open the door to their suite. It's stunning. David rolls his suitcase in, and Natalie places her carry-on next to the bed.
Want to take a shower first? Maybe together?
I wish, but I have to go downtown. I gotta get clothes.
She opens her purse and thumbs through some cash and credit cards.
Oh, right.
He looks at his watch.
I have a meeting in about an hour at the Shalom Jerusalem College with the dean. Are you okay to go out without me?
Natalie looks up and is a little disappointed.
You have a meeting today? We just got here.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I told you. He wanted to meet before I started tomorrow.
Okay, well, I guess I'll go by myself. No biggie.
Okay, good. I'm going to hop in the shower.
He kisses Natalie on the cheek. She stands alone in the room and hears the shower go on. Then she leaves to go to town. Later, in Jerusalem, she's walking around a very modern part of downtown. She has her bags full of new clothes for her stay in the ancient city. She's all smiles, noting the various riches of both the stores, the people of all walks of life strolling around, and the different sects of Jewish culture represented throughout. Natalie notices a woman Chaya, who was talking to other women on a park bench near an open green space. She stops close to the woman and window shops, and she catches bits of what she's saying.
Our souls yearn to be close with Hashem, and if we look closely, we'll find Hashem in places we may never expect.
The group dissipates as Natalie continues to look into the window, debating if she wants to go in. She decides against it, and as she turns to leave, an item from one of her bags drops to the ground. Natalie doesn't notice, but Chaya picks it up and calls to her.
Excuse me, miss, you dropped this.
Natalie turns and sees Chaya looking right at her, holding up the item in her hand.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. American?
Yes, what gave it away?
You've got an aura about you I often find in Americans.
I hope that's a good thing.
It is.
I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I caught the tail end of what you were saying earlier. It was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Maybe you'll join us next week if you're still in town.
Maybe I will. I will be here. I'm Natalie.
Natalie extends her hand and Chaya takes it.
Hiya, Sara. Pleasure to meet you.
Hey, thanks again for getting my scarf.
Of course. Anytime. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Shalom.
Natalie starts walking down the street. Chaya jumps right into another conversation. Natalie turns back and takes one last look at her new friend and smiles. Later, in the lobby of the hotel, Natalie enters it and heads towards the elevator when the voice of a concierge stops her.
Miss Stein,
Yes.
this arrived for you.
My bag? Oh, how? Who?
A gentleman from the airport went off shortly after you left.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She turns and heads to the elevator with her arms full of bags, and now wheeling her once missing bag, she enters back in the room. She finds David sitting at the table, and she throws her bags on the bed and wheels her lost bag.
Hey,
Hi.
hey, would you look at that? Told you it would show up.
Natalie smiles. Yes, yes, he did.
I'm going to go take a shower.
Okay.
1 week later, Natalie is standing in front of the King David, and she checks her phone and paces. A taxi drives up. Maggie, early 40s, has the window down and calls to her.
Hey, girlfriend.
Maggie gets out, and the two friends share a big hug.
Oh, I've missed you.
You've only been gone a week.
Yeah, well, David's been at the college pretty much every day, so I've been on my own.
The bellhop gets the bags.
I thought this was a sabbatical.
Yeah, so did I.
There's an understanding between the two, tenderness. The moment is broken by the taxi driver, who is the same one that drove Natalie and David from his airport, clearing his throat.
Oh, sorry.
Hello, miss.
Oh, hello.
Natalie smiles. What a coincidence. Maybe a sign. Who knows?
You two know each other?
No, I mean, he drove us from the airport to here as well.
Really? What are the chances of that?
As I've told both of you now, Jerusalem is a magical place.
He was telling me we should go see the Western Wall.
Yeah, he told me that we should do the same.
What do you say? Want to go?
Don't you want to check in and relax?
I'm good to go. I slept 8 hours on the plane. Let's go.
They climb back into the taxi, and the adventure is beginning. Natalie and Maggie take in the sights as they head towards the Western Wall. The open space plaza where the western wall is visible from is teeming with tourists, devout worshipers, both strict and casual. Natalie stands in awe of the immensity of the wall.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Huh?
Women and men, we're still separated at the wall. I hope to change by now.
Yeah, well, the whole area around the wall is considered an open air Orthodox synagogue. It's tradition.
If we stuck to tradition, we both wouldn't be able to vote.
Different worlds. But hey, it's still magical.
Natalie sees Chaya from afar, chatting amongst a group of women near the entrance to the wall.
Come on.
Natalie turns back to Maggie, who's pulling her along. Natalie walks up to the wall and she turns and notes a few men down the far side of it with their heads leaned up against it. Same with the women around her, and she closes her eyes. Her relationship with David flashes before her eyes. Their first date, David proposing, their wedding, happiness, then a flash of them arguing and Natalie crying.
Nat?
Natalie opens her eyes and she shakes off a shudder left from her memories. Maggie's next to her in front of the wall, and they whisper, both respecting the others around them.
You okay?
Natalie wipes away a tear.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just thinking.
About
David and me and us.
She takes a big breath and she looks at the wall and marvels at the amount of papers wedged between the stones.
All of these wishes, prayers, thoughts, all in one place, all for a peace of mind.
makes you realize we're not alone in our grief.
Thanks for coming, Maggie.
Are you kidding? A couple of weeks away with my bestie after everything I've been through with Michael, the divorce was a no-brainer.
They smile at each other and Natalie turns back to the wall. She puts her hand on it and closes her eyes. One last prayer for her friend Maggie.
Shall we?
They leave the wall. They're walking in the main square again when Jack calls out to Natalie from within the crowd.
Natalie?
They turn, and it's an old flame from college, Jack.
Yes.
Hi, you don't recognize me, do you?
Jack?
Yep, the one and only. Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Jack. What are you doing here?
Jack turns to Raji, a handsome Indian man, who approaches them while reading a pamphlet.
Here with this guy. Raji, meet Natalie and Maggie, very old friends.
Hi.
Hello, pleasure.
Raji and Maggie's eyes meet, and there's a connection. The conversation is friendly, almost flirtatious.
Old, huh?
Well, college was 20 years ago.
That's a horrible lie.
You both look like you're doing very well for yourselves.
That's the divorce. Brought out the youth in me.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I live here. Well, part-time. I work in the Diamond District. If I'm not here, I'm in New York, London, Beijing, Chicago, you name it. This bloke had some free time, so he decided to come visit me. What about you guys?
My husband is taking a working sabbatical at the university.
A working sabbatical? That's actually a real thing?
Raji and Maggie are watching the two of them chat. Raji leans over to Maggie.
Maggie, yes?
Yes, hi.
First time in Jerusalem?
Yes. You?
I live here part-time.
And the other part?
London. And you?
Jersey.
Oh, beautiful. I love that island.
Oh no, New Jersey.
Oh,
Raji and Maggie chuckled together. There was a sweet connection between them.
Well, this was certainly a surprise, but we have to get back to the hotel.
Oh, where are you staying?
She's not too sure she should give up that info.
What's it to you?
Okay. If you want to ride in the back of the cab again, then be my guest.
I think our cabbie is actually waiting for us.
The King David Hotel.
um, what do you know? That's on our way. Would you like a ride?
Raji points to a limousine where a driver is standing by the door.
We have plenty of room.
Sold. Let's go.
Okay.
After you.
They all get in the back of the limousine and it drives off. The limo pulls up to the front of the hotel and they're all finishing a cheerful conversation.
Hey, thanks for the ride, guys.
It's much better than a cab.
Well, we'll be out in downtown tonight at the Sierra Bar and Restaurant. If you guys are downtown, you should join us. The first drink's on Raji.
Maybe we will.
Bye.
Later, in Natalie's room, she's getting herself ready for the evening. She's alone and her phone rings. It's her husband on the other end of the line.
Hey, where are you?
Hey, hon, I'm really sorry. If a few members of the faculty are getting together for a drink, and I'm going to go join them.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay, I'll see you back at the hotel tonight.
Okay, bye.
She sits on the edge of the bed, her dress laid out next to her. She considers it. Then she picks up her phone and texts Maggie. Ladies' night? Maggie responds, ready when you are. Later at night, Natalie and Maggie are walking downtown. It's lively and festive. They're checking out the sights, the street shows, the shops, and everything they can. Then they come to a diamond shop.
Want to go in?
When in Rome.
They enter the shop and they're quickly greeted by a salesperson.
I help you find something today.
No, we're okay. We're just browsing.
Jack happens to be in the store as well, leaning on the display case, and he was in conversation with the salesman.
Are you two stalking me?
Jack, hey, what are you doing here?
Well, negotiating.
Oh yeah, buying something for a special lady.
No, selling.
Selling what?
Well, diamonds, of course.
Natalie's turned on by this, and it's out of nowhere. She didn't expect it to happen, but it did.
Oh.
Excuse me.
He turns back to the salesman who returned from the back, and the women chat while browsing the display.
Never picked Jack to become a diamond dealer.
Oh, you didn't know him like I did.
Maggie raises her eyebrows. Of course, she didn't have the relationship Natalie had with him, but it's fascinating to her that she brought it up.
Naughty, naughty Natalie. What do you know?
The salesman and Jack walk over to the woman, but Jack seems frustrated.
This is taking longer than I expected. Poor Raji's been waiting over an hour for me at Sierra.
Oh, yeah? You want one of us to go meet up with him while you're doing this?
Oh, well, I'm sure he would appreciate the company.
I'll go. You said Sierra's?
Yeah, thanks, Maggie.
Sure. See you there.
Jack and Natalie share an awkward silence before he breaks it.
What are you looking for?
Excuse me?
Well, in the shop, you came in, you must be looking for something in particular.
Oh, no, just browsing.
Yes, just browsing, but browsing for what?
A bracelet?
Ah, yes, over here.
Jack brings Natalie over to a display and she looks in.
Wow, these are beautiful.
Yes, and this is my favorite.
He points to a gorgeous bracelet. Natalie examines it and sees the price. Oh, it's expensive.
Wow, that is out of my price range.
Yes, but it would look beautiful on you. Excuse me.
Jack walks over to the salesman, and she continues to look at the jewelry. But out of the corner of her eye, she catches him and the salesman shaking hands. She continues to look at the beautiful contents when suddenly Jack is next to her again.
That one, the middle one.
He points to the bracelet. The salesman opens the case, takes it out, and places it on display.
What are you doing?
Well, you like the bracelet, don't you?
He picks up the bracelet and unclasps it. He gestures to Natalie for her to get in her wrist.
Come on.
She puts out her wrist, and he tenderly clasps the bracelet on her.
See? It looks even more beautiful on you than it did in the case.
She blushes because it is stunning. She looks up, and she sees Jack shaking hands with the salesman as he locks up the case.
Wait, what? What? I can't afford this.
It's a gift.
No, I can't.
Well, it's too late. He's already gone, and you're not going to embarrass me in front of my client, are you? Please, you can buy me a drink if you really want to thank me later.
A drink? More like 1,000.
Jack heads to the door.
Shall we?
Later, at Sara's restaurant, Maggie and Raji are in mid-conversation. There are empty glasses on the table and some half-eaten appetizers.
Hey, we made it.
Hey.
2 hours. I am waiting here.
Well, who's the pretty lady sitting next to you?
Hey, only reason why I'm still sitting here. I was about to leave.
Maggie sees the bracelet.
Whoa, Nat, what did you do?
Maggie reaches for Natalie's arm and pulls her in for a closer look. And Natalie looks over at Jack while Maggie looks at the bracelet.
I decided I deserved a gift.
Jack smiles back at Natalie, who returns a smile, and they both know the truth.
I have decided we deserve a gift too. A wet one. And I know just a guy who's gonna buy them.
All right. Fair enough.
But later at Sara's.
I can't believe you remember that.
Well, how could I possibly forget?
I could barely remember what I ate for breakfast, and you two are reminiscing about a bad date 20 years ago. Gross.
Well, it was our first date.
And our first kiss.
My first kiss was in the 5th grade, Bobby Henkel.
Rena Nilam was mine. At my bar, mitzvah, my father was not pleased when he caught me making out with the girl when I should have been doing my final present preparation to read from the Torah.
How did it go?
Beautifully.
The lights change in the restaurant and music begins to play as an exotic belly dancer takes the stage. The friends stop their conversation and watch the dancer. Natalie is mesmerized. Her gaze is broken by the ringing of her phone, and she looks down, sees it's David, and she sends it right to voicemail and closes her purse. She looks over at Jack, and she catches him staring at her. He smiles, and she smiles before turning back to watch the dancer. Maggie and Raji have gotten closer to each other, and romance is in the air. Later, the foursome exit the restaurant.
Well, that was...
And suddenly, there is a distant boom and loud sirens begin to wail.
What was that?
Who knows? It's always something.
People in the crowded downtown begin to scatter. Police cars and ambulances race by. Natalie and Jack watch as they go. She catches a glimpse of Chaya walking hurriedly through the crowd, and Jack sees her too. Chaya briefly turns and makes eye contact with Natalie before disappearing within the crowd.
Come on, let's get out of here.
The four of them get in the limousine, and the limousine drives off. Sirens continue to wail outside the car, and Jack scoots up to the window near the driver.
King David Hotel, please.
There are loud bangs from outside, followed by screams and yells, and Maggie seeks comfort in Raji's arms.
It's okay, Maggie. We are safe.
The driver honks his horn as the limousine makes its way through the crowded street. And suddenly, the driver slams on the brakes. This causes Natalie to instinctively grab Jack's hand, and he affectionately holds it. They lock eyes together. There's a passion between them, but it terrifies her, and she pulls her hand away. The limousine pulls up to the front of the hotel. They all get out and make their way into the lobby. Natalie, Jack, Raji, and Maggie are in the lobby now, and Natalie turns to Jack as Maggie and Raji continue on.
Well, that was certainly an adventure.
Never a dull moment in Jerusalem.
He raises his eyebrows and nods his head in the direction over Natalie's shoulder. She turns and sees Raji and Maggie entering the elevator together. And as the doors close, they start kissing each other. Natalie chuckles.
Maggie's been through a lot the past couple years with her ex-husband and divorce.
Raji too. His wife left him 6 months ago. This is the most cheerful I've seen him since.
The two awkwardly share a moment, and neither of them is sure what to do or say to each other next.
The hotel bar is still open. Want to grab a nightcap?
She blushes, but her head prevails over her heart.
No, I should really get up to my room. David's probably wondering where I am.
Okay, well, please allow me to walk you to the elevator.
Sure.
They walk to the elevator. Jack hits the button. They smile, and he takes her hand and runs his thumb over the bracelet.
Well, I had a lovely evening.
Me too. Mine is thinking we were all gonna die at the end of it.
The doors open, and he kisses her hand.
Good night, Natalie.
He turns and starts to leave, but she stops the door from closing.
You've changed.
Huh?
Old Jack I knew was a hound, not easily dissuaded.
Well, young Natalie straightened me out.
The doors begin to close again.
Good night, Natalie.
Good night.
Natalie's flush. She's happy she kept control of herself, but she's also well aware of the danger her flirtation with Jack could ruin her marriage. She looks down at the bracelet and runs her hand over it, and then unclasps it and puts it in her purse as the elevator ascends to her floor. Down in the lobby, Jack lingers by the elevator doors. He finally turns and starts to head out. But before he does, he goes over to the concierge desk. And when he approaches, the concierge places a plain envelope on the counter. Jack grabs it and heads to the exit. Upstairs, Natalie gets off the elevator. She goes down the hallway. She gets to the door and takes a deep breath before she opens it with her key. When she enters it, she finds David sound asleep in the bed of the darkened room. And downstairs, Jack gets back into the limousine.
Where to, sir?
Home, please.
Jack opens the envelope to reveal diamonds. He pours a couple in his hand and runs his thumb over them, and he smiles. And upstairs in the room, Natalie gets in bed next to her husband, who hasn't budged. She stares at the ceiling. She thinks about the night. She thinks of Jack, and then she closes her eyes. The end.
falls. Time races on. Deep inside, pressures build. Strangers surround. Mysteries lurk. And my courage fades. Will darkness win o'er the dawn? Will darkness win o'er the dawn?